Do you have a photograph in your resume, an objective statement that is stating your goals to start it off, or a declaration at the end stating that everything that I've said is true to the best of my knowledge? Do you have multiple colors in the resume? Well, if you have any of these things, you're probably doing your master's resume wrong and it could lead to a straight rejection. Now, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how long your resume should be, what should be in each section, and how an admissions committee reviews the resume so that you have the right thing at the right place. If you stay tuned in this video long enough, I'll also tell you how you can get the template of a resume prescribed by Ivy League universities in the US for absolutely free. So stay tuned. All right, question number one: how long should your resume be? And I have a sort of a definitive answer to this. Sort of a definitive is sort of paradoxical, but an almost definitive answer. Your resume has to be most likely 1 page in length. Now, if you look at career services at universities, when you're eventually applying for jobs, they strongly prescribe 1 page resumes. This is the case even for MBA candidates with multiple years of work experience. But since you're applying to university, there can be a little bit of leeway in case you decide to stretch. However, keep in mind that there has to be a strong reason for you to stretch your resume beyond a page. If you have too much work experience, multiple organizations, and a lot of impactful projects, and you want to show the admissions committee every single one, then it's okay to go to 2 pages. Or if you are a research student and you've done a lot of research work with a variety of professors at different universities and multiple publications, and you want to highlight all of them, it's okay to stretch to 2 pages. But if you're fresh out of college or less than 2 or 3 years of work experience, you've not worked at too many companies, then it is best to stick to 1 page. One strict no, however, is having a resume which is about 1.5 pages long. Stick to 1 page or stretch it to 2 complete pages with meaningful content. If you end it with a page and a half, a page and 3/4, it shows that you haven't spent enough time optimizing your resume and you've left a sort of incomplete version, which is a bad sort of impression to leave with admissions committees. So we've established the ideal length and maybe you're trying to decide now what sections in what order should appear in your resume. You have to understand that admissions committees read your resume with a great level of seriousness. It's their first point of entry to your profile. Also, you have to understand that they're not going to spend too much time reading your resume. They probably will be spending a couple of minutes, and therefore they want the right pieces of information in the right place so that they can have a comparative metric with other candidates. Now, of course, the first thing I'm going to start with is a very basic thing. You don't have to put much thought into it. It's your personal information. Most certainly start off with your name, give an email ID that you access and use all the time, have your phone number. If required, you can have a location or an address, but it's not necessary. But email ID, phone number, and name for sure. Additionally, it will be a good idea to have a nice, complete, verified LinkedIn profile that you can link to on your resume. If there are programs that have an interview, oftentimes we see admissions committees checking the LinkedIn profiles. So have the link to that. That is perhaps more important than your home address. Keep your education section right up top when you're applying for an academic master's program. This is critical. Why is this so? Admissions committees to master's programs care about a couple of things. Number one, the diversity in terms of academic profiles coming into the class, and also the relevance of the academic profile coming in. Therefore, your undergraduate education is very, very important. If you're applying to a focused technical master's program, you have to show which undergrad degree you're coming from. And additionally, you want to show your grades in that particular program if your GPA is high. Make sure you highlight this because your GPA is a very important factor in admissions. If you are not having a very high GPA, then you can decide not to include it in the resume. Secondarily, even if you're applying to an engineering management or a business analytics or an MIS or an MBA program that accepts people from a variety of undergraduate backgrounds, admissions committees will want to know what background you are coming from to see where you fit into that class. So make life easier for them and mention your academic background right up top. If you're applying for a degree that's a little bit of a transition from your core undergraduate degree, for example, if you're applying from an engineering degree to a more management heavy program and you've taken relevant management courses somewhere, the education section is a good place where you can mention your relevant coursework. If you're applying straight from a computer science to computer science, it may not make sense writing relevant coursework because admissions committees would assume that you should have a lot of relevant courses very similar to your competing applicants. I did mention a certain resume format prescribed by Ivy League universities and how you can get it. Well, it's fairly simple. If you schedule a free consultation call with Gradvine, where, by the way, you can have your profile evaluated, have an understanding of the timelines for the application process, and all other critical information, as a bonus, along with this lovely information, we'll be giving you the prescribed resume format for absolutely free. You can schedule the call using the link in the description or on our website. Additionally, we have thousands of qualified candidates from the best universities all over the world discussing their resumes on our WhatsApp communities. You can join our fall 2026 or spring 2026 communities and program specific communities using the link in the description. Don't miss out on that chance. Now that the education section is done, we are going to come to a very, very important concept that is going to dictate how the rest of your resume flows. It's called reverse chronology, which means having your most recent or latest experience first and your older experiences below that. This is where the resume is going to vary for candidates with work experience and those of you who are applying without work experience. For those of you applying with work experience, your work experience section has to follow your education section, because adcoms would want to know what you've been doing most recently and the kind of impact you've had on your organization, because this is the point of transition to a master's degree. Within the work experience section also, most certainly have your most recent position first or your most recent company first. As you're going through reverse chronology, you obviously have to write about what you've done at your company or what you've done in various projects. While writing about this, make sure you follow the S.T.A.R format: situation, task, action, result. You need to have short and impactful sentences that start with an action word. You cannot tell stories in your resume and you cannot have long-winded sentences, because adcoms are only going to care about what work you did, the results that you've delivered, and what your specific contribution to those results were. When you're writing about your work, you want to talk about the size of the teams that you worked on, the kind of problems that you identified, the kind of problems that you've solved, and the results which can be quantified ideally. Led a team of X members across XYZ skill sets. Identified a market opportunity of X million dollars. Used tools such as X, Y, and Z to perform an analytical study on XYZ market. Delivered sales growth of X million dollars and penetration into X market for the company. Now, of course, your examples are going to be more compelling once you put in specific details, but these examples that I gave you are for generic sentence structures. So keep that in mind. Don't write long-winded stories. Now, if you're watching this video, you're thinking of studying abroad. I'm bringing you a webinar where we are going to be discussing the best countries to study abroad, understanding the application timelines for the best universities in these countries, understanding what kind of application materials are required, and also how you can build your profile based on how admissions committees will evaluate your profile on various metrics. You can sign up for this webinar using the link in the description. I look forward to seeing you there. Don't miss this one. Now, what about you guys who don't have full-time work experience? Well, if you've done internships, I would strongly recommend you start with your internship experience first before you go into academic projects. If not, then you can start writing about your academic projects in a separate section straight away. Like with those with work experience, start with your most recent academic project first. Write in the S.T.A.R format, identify the problem that you've solved, start with action words, emphasize the results, don't write stories. So I'm going to take a pause and summarize what we have so far, just so that you guys are caught up. You have your personal information, you have your education. If you're somebody with work experience, you have your work experience first, and then you can follow it up with academic projects. If your work experience is not extensive, you can take a call and not write about your academic projects at all if you have extensive work experience. Now, for those of you who don't have full-time work experience, if you have internships, you can write about them first and then move into your academic projects. If you don't have internships, you can write about your academic projects straight away. The important part is reverse chronology, writing in the S.T.A.R format, not writing long-winded sentences and making sure you have short, impactful sentences, and starting with action words and emphasizing the results. If you do this, whether you have work experience or no, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be a strong resume. All right, we're coming towards the end of this video, and now I'm going to emphasize on the importance or the lack of importance for sections. Now, of course, education, work experience, internships, projects, all of these should most likely feature in your resume. How much content you put in each, whether you're going to ignore a section completely, depends on what strengths you want to highlight in your profile. And this is a continuing theme as I cover the next sections in your resume. For the final section of your resume, it depends on what kind of program you're applying to and where your strengths lie. If you're applying to a research heavy program, you can have a research and publication section where you're listing your publications and also talking about the work that you've done there in the S.T.A.R format. If you're applying for management focused programs, you might want to highlight your leadership experience either at your company or during college through your extracurricular activities. Finally, if you have a lot of skills and certifications that are relevant to the master's degree that you're applying to, you can choose to have a skills and certification section where you're listing these instead. This is subjective. This depends on the program you're applying to and the strengths you wish to highlight. So I hope this video was helpful. This is the resume format that has helped thousands of Gradvine students make it to the top 50 universities in the world year after year. And this is the format that admissions committees themselves have prescribed in the past. So if you found this useful, please do like, share, and subscribe, and share this video to anybody who might find it useful. Even if they're not applying for master's programs, this is a great format of a resume to have irrespective.